calling the meeting to order. And I'm going to turn off my camera one more time.
Okay, we are good whenever you are, Mayor.
Perfect. Okay, well, welcome everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We are convening at 6:34 p.m. This meeting, as you can see, is being held virtually in accordance with Section 238, 3.3 of the Municipal Act 2001. And of course, after tonight's proceedings, you can watch the Municipality of North Grenville's YouTube channel to live stream the proceedings this evening. And of course, the clerk is here, Ms. Caitlin Boss, to support us in our proceedings. I'll look for a council colleague to read our land acknowledgement, please.
I'll do it.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan.
The Municipality of North Grenville acknowledges that the municipality operates on the territory of the Anishinaabeg. We recognize all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples who now call North Grenville their home. We respect and support the need for cultivating a strong relationship, and we commit to Indigenous-informed decision-making to foster the path towards reconciliation.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Appreciate that. With that, we'll look to the adoption of the agenda. And maybe Councillor Wilson, Deputy Mayor, do you mind moving and seconding that, please? Deputy Mayor? Oh, your audio is off.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, okay, Councillor Wilson moving and Deputy Mayor second. Thank you so much. And I think the agenda this evening is fairly self-evident, so I'll call the vote. All in favor? Great, thanks. That carries. And then, of course, declarations of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof, and that's in regards to any perceived or real financial benefit or loss arising from proceedings this evening. Any declarations? Not seeing any? Perfect. So then we'll move on to the community grants presentations. And I know a number of you obviously are here well in advance of your presentation. So if you need to go on mute because you're lower on the list, or take a bit of a reprieve if you're at home parenting kids or taking care of other things, that's no problem at all. We will, of course, go in the order of presentation. And I just want to confirm with Ms. Boss, what I see on the website, Caitlin, is going to be my guide for this evening. So if there has been an update, I know you've sent a couple of updates. You can correct me as I go along. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's one right off the top. We are going to move Kemptville Minor Football Club to the top, as I know Jess has an obligation to get to.
Beautiful. Okay. So thank you for that. So Jessica Duperrin, welcome, Jessica. Do we see you on the screen? There you are. Okay, perfect. And I know, Jess, as I'm sure all of our presenters are aware, we're trying to keep presentations to a maximum of 10, and I'm sure with your schedule that won't be a problem. Just leaving a little bit of time for questions from council. So fire away.
For sure. Thank you again for moving us. As you can see, I'm just taking this from my car. So that's where we're at today.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So we are the Kemptville Minor Football Club. So you can go ahead to the next slide. We offer programs including flag football for children ages 5 and up, mixed tackle football, which is for kids 8 and up to 16 years old. This fall, we're really excited to be introducing a women's tackle team, which will be for our youth who are 16 to 18 years of age. We also offer winter conditioning training camps, and we have collaborated with schools to run in-school programming to support flag football and other athletic development within our community of North Grenville. Our core values and development is at Kemptville Minor Football Club. We emphasize more than just athletic performance. We teach the fundamentals of respect, perseverance, growth, grit, gratitude, and teamwork. We provide a safe and welcoming environment for players, volunteers, and spectators. All equipment meets or exceeds safety standards, and our coaches are trained to prioritize player well-being. Inclusivity is at the heart of our mission, ensuring that everyone, regardless of age, gender, or ability, has the opportunity to participate and thrive. Next slide, please. So our project details, our goal of our project is we are seeking the community grant funding to expand our program that we're launching of our women's football team and enhancing our mixed tackle team. This initiative will provide inclusive opportunities for all athletes to participate in organized tackle football in a safe, supportive environment. So we're located in Kemptville within the campus. And like I said, we serve children and youth all around our area. Our boundaries actually go just before Brockville, Prescott, and Smith Falls area. So we do have a pretty wide range. So our hopes for our project is we are working on procuring a couple more helmets and some shoulder pads. So we've already begun to budget out and figure all those things out. So our project actually began just a couple of weeks ago. And our games for the Women's Tackle League, it starts in the late spring, and then we have fall tackle. Next slide, please. So with the funding, we're hoping to replace 30 helmets that no longer meet safety standards, purchasing new shoulder pads and protective gear to accommodate the increasing of registrations we've seen over the past seasons, and supporting program expansions for our women and mixed genders team. This investment ensures that every player is properly equipped to learn and enjoy tackle football safely. Next slide, please. So just a bit of our budget is that the reality is we are a not-for-profit. So our membership fees actually go towards our field rental and other kind of necessities within the programming. For tackle specifically, we pay for players to have socks, a Jags football bag, and on top of that, a girdle, which is a protective underlayer. Our goal is to make it as accessible as possible. So we do ensure that all of our members pay off some of those other debts we do have. I apologize, so I'm on my phone, so I'm just gonna turn off my camera for a sec so I can actually see there. Okay, there we go. We have done a really great job the past season of increasing our funding within the ideas of fundraising, and we have surpassed past goals. But the reality is equipment is expensive, and we do work with Rydell, who does offer us payment programs, but we are still in debt from our last seasons. Next slide, please. The community impact for children and youth development, we provide structured physical activity, teamwork, and leadership opportunities for children and youth, helping to build their confidence and resilience. Positive role models and mentors. So local volunteers with a passion for football bring volunteers as coaches and mentors to bringing positive experiences and fostering community ties that promote older players to give back within their community. Last season, we had done a grocery blitz where we had older players at a variety of different stores within our community offering to carry groceries out, bag groceries, and just support within. We also have our older players support our younger teams, so it's really great to see them all giving back to learning and growing together. The regional reach, our boundaries extend beyond Kemptville to include surrounding areas such as North Grenville, Merrickville, Brockville, and Prescott, drawing families into our communities for practices, games, and events. And through our flag and tackle seasons, we actually do have other people from Ottawa come, and it's really great to have such a wonderful field and community to be part of that. Our next slide, please. Thank you so much. The economic impacts. So we do have home games, like I said. For flag, it's about 4 home games per team per season, For tackle would be about the same. Last year, we actually hosted the first ever Flag U8 Jamboree, which had us having people come from South Gloucester area, Orleans, and Nepean to our field. And we had some local sponsors support that as well. And it was really a wonderful experience. And I'm really looking forward to it again this season. Visiting teams have constantly complimented our facilities as among the best of the region, which I think is a huge kudos to the people at the Kemptville campus for ensuring our area is amazing. And like I said, we are very privileged to have this field as our home. We continue to have collaborations with local businesses and the municipality of North Grenville to encourage exploring services, shopping, and dining experiences while they're here. So this project is not only an investment in sports, but also a catalyst for economic growth and community development. Next slide, please. KMFC is committed to ensuring long-term success and growth of football in our community, creating safe and inclusive or high-quality programs that will thrive for years to come. Our goal is to replace outdated equipment and maintain the highest safety standards for all players and volunteers stepping on our field. The longevity of equipment. So the reality is, while we're saying we're replacing 30 helmets, we actually get them refurbished every year, and they're brought into Rydell to ensure that they're at the best quality they can be. So those helmets actually last us 10 years. So while we're asking for funding, that money will actually continue to give back to our community. It's not really just like a one-time kind of thing. This investment reduces future costs and ensures our programs remain accessible and affordable for families. Our long-term vision is to grow football in North Grenville and the surrounding areas while maintaining financial stability, safety, and inclusivity. This grant will serve as a foundation for that vision, enabling KMFC to remain a trusted and sustainable organization for many years to come. Next slide, please. So we have a strong and experienced executive team, our organizational effectiveness. We have a strong and experienced executive team that combines professional expertise with a deep commitment to community sports. We're well versed in program coordination, event planning, and financial management, ensuring that every initiative is executed effectively and responsibly. We have successfully delivered a full flag program and tackle seasons for multiple age groups. We have our conditioning, like I said, already running, and our launching of our OWFL. The past year marked one of our highest grossing fundraising years, demonstrating our ability to mobilize community supports and secure resources for program sustainability. Establish strong relationships with local businesses, volunteers, and municipal partners, positioning us as a trusted and effective organization within North Grenville community and our broader NCAFA network. Next slide, please. And just some other considerations. The Kemptville Minor Football Club is proud to introduce several initiatives and socially impactful elements throughout this project. So our hope is to have gender equality in sports. It's really exciting to have the thought of an all-girls team joining this amazing OWFL team. Community engagement and volunteerism, intergenerational involvement. It is amazing to see grandparents rallying behind their kids as spectators and as volunteers, having youth and young adults in our community giving back. We have a few coaches that don't even have kids playing football, but continue to give to our community development. Regional reach and economic growth. Like I said, our boundaries are far and wide, as well as the people that come to spectate our wonderful activities. And the other considerations to consider is that, like I said, as a not-for-profit, we are hoping to continue this club and this sport as something that just grows with Kemptville. Next slide, please. Thank you so much. This project is more than a sports initiative. It is a community building effort that promotes inclusivity, volunteerism, economic development, and positive social change. So last slide. Thank you from all of us at KMFC.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. And I know you're multitasking, so you've done a good job with limited time. So I'll just open it up quickly for questions from colleagues before we move on. Colleagues, any questions from councillors? Okay, so I see Councillor Sullivan, go ahead. Oh, you're muted, Councillor Sullivan. We're not used to our Zoom meetings.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
It's all good. Okay. Thank you very much, Jess, for that presentation. It's exciting to see this take off, and it's unfortunate that you have some debt that you have to take care of. But anyway, moving forward.
Exactly.
So I just have a couple of questions too, if I may. You spoke about Merrickville, Brockville, Prescott, all the way to Smith Falls. Are you requesting funds from those other municipalities?
You know what? I honestly never even thought of that until you just said it. It's a great idea for sure, because we do, like I said, it's just because of how NACAFA is laid out, that's just our boundaries. And also for flag season, it's actually considered open. So we could have kids come from other locations that aren't just our area. So that's a wonderful idea. I would happily reach out to other local places
yeah.
like that as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then my second question is, do the players not have this equipment themselves? Are they not responsible for their own equipment like a hockey player would be, or a baseball player?
That's a really fantastic question. The reality is that like one helmet for football is $500. So if we're saying that we want kids to come out and play football or try it, asking that kind of financial commitment. So a helmet's about 500, and that's almost for like that mid kind of price point ones. Those are the ones we buy. And then a shoulder pads can range from anywhere to 300 to 450. So when we're talking about the financial impact of families, we provide the equipment. So we provide the helmets, the pads, and the protective pants, because it gives kids a chance to try it. I mean, as a parent, I personally would probably turn my cheek to the sport that would make me put out a bit more money to have my child try it and maybe like it or not. We do have players that do buy their own shoulder pads just for their own comfort. But that being said, to ensure that we can have everybody trying something if they're interested in it, we definitely take on the funding for that part.
Okay. I know that hockey players, they're responsible for their own equipment, and they do some trading as they grow. And, but I think hockey helmets and skates and all that can get very expensive as well.
Yeah.
So
and where we also live, there's not really an accessible sports shop that would even offer a lot of the things we're talking about. We order from a Rydell, who is a company that makes and specializes in these things. And so even when we talk about those things, there's a couple of barriers that are within it for families for sure. And we have an equipment manager whose job is to fit kids. So we ensure that everyone is wearing exactly what they should be. If at any point their pads don't feel comfortable, their helmets don't feel right, we fix that for them. So I think that does take a lot of stress off of families, that we kind of have that ownership.
Okay. All right. Well, just some food for thought.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I see that another person with Kemptville Minor Football has their hand up, but just before I go there, any other questions, colleagues, in terms of the presentation? I would only ask the Women's Football Tackle Club, or this is the first time that Kemptville would have a women's tackle. And what's the age group again?
It's 16 to 18. So it would be pretty much high schoolers.
Okay.
Yeah. We have some flexibility to take on grade 9s if we're there, but it's 10 to 12s, like grade 12s. 10
and
to
then
12s.
Where would the closest women's football tackle club be?
There's one in Cornwall and one in Bel Air. So those would be the two closest. So
and
that
Bel Air
doesn't hit a lot.
Bel Air
Bel
would be
Air
in
is
Ottawa?
like, it's kind of like that Westboro-ish area, like that kind of Carling area. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. And you said it would be up to 30 kids. Is that correct? Is that what I heard?
Yeah. We can take up to 30.
Okay. Thanks. And I'll recognize your colleague from the football club.
I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Before we move on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Hi, Mayor Nancy. This is Chelsea Dunlop. How are you?
Hi, Chelsea. Yes, go ahead.
I'm sitting here, like, we have our board meeting tonight, and John Parks is here as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I think John just wanted to touch on a couple of things before we, just in regards to Councillor O'Sullivan's questions.
Sure. Okay, we'll take those comments from your colleague, and then we'll move on to the next presentation. But nice to know that John is there. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Nice to hear your voice.
Good. It's great to hear your voice as well. The one thing that's really the hockey to football comparison. Right. So with football, right across North America is looked at very much like the equipment is included in the experience because it's a part of the team uniform to keep it as much of an inclusive sport as possible. That's the one thing where hockey has really isolated a lot of communities, not allowing people with financial restrictions to be able to play. So that's the one thing football nationally, we've worked really hard to avoid that.
Thank you for that clarification, because
Okay.
it certainly sounds like it's part of the ethos of the sport to provide the equipment.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And I think that's the one thing that gets sort of a gray area with hockey. Like there's a
Right.
lot of people, and I think you know this economically,
Yes.
a lot of people get left out. So we don't unfortunately get our best athletes because
Right.
we're not always able to get them financially set up that way.
Understood. Thank you. Any other comments, John, at this stage?
No, I think that's that. Yeah, that's one thing. I know that's sort of a glaring. I think there's a lot of people who don't know the football community who sort of look at it where it's like, well, why aren't they buying their own equipment? But we try to keep it as inclusive as possible to give that opportunity. It's similar to when, like I know this area doesn't have high school football, but it's similar
Right.
to that same experience. Like we wouldn't ask the kids to go out and buy a football helmet.
Okay, we appreciate that clarification because I think this is obviously in North Granville. There's so many families that play hockey and so many families that likely opt out of hockey for exactly the reasons you've highlighted. So it's good to have a better understanding of how the football community manages the costly endeavor of equipment for sure. So Jess and John and the executive, thank you for your submission. I think we're going to move on just because we have a number of presentations. Jess, any last word before we say thanks?
No,
good?
thank you so much. Appreciate it all.
Okay, well, thanks for all of your good work. We know that the club works extraordinarily hard, so thanks for stepping up.
Thank you.
And thanks, John.
Bye. Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks,
Have a
Chelsea.
good
Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. So great presentation. Thank you so much. And I think now we're going to Caitlin Beyond the Label, DiverseX. Is that right? And we are looking, is it Kathy Ann or Rebecca?
Both of us.
There's a number of you here. Great. Okay.
Two of us, yeah.
Okay, so I'll turn it over to you both. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Welcome, and we appreciate you having us. I think we'll be able to get you through this quick because most of you know who we are already. Beyond the Label is a conference that DiverseX runs in the community every year. For those who don't know, DiverseX is simply just a group of 4 volunteers within the community who all have lived experiences with neurodiversities. Myself, Rebecca Rafis, Kathy Ann Lemon, Matthew Bell, and Kate Stacy, who regrettably can't be here to represent because of other obligations. So you can go to the next slide just to give a little bit about what we're doing. So basically, our initiative is that we just want to spread more awareness about neurodiversity experiences and journeys, and really emphasize the message that these are actually differences within neurology, and rather than the old medical model of this being a disability or some type of required diagnosis to be acknowledged. There's much new research in the industry in the last 5 years to suggest that we need better supporting communities, better supporting systems, better supporting societal concepts of what individuals who have neurodivergent experiences need. So we kind of took it on ourselves a couple of years ago to come into the community and start spreading that awareness through our conference and some community workshops and projects. So you can go to the next slide. So just to give you an idea for anyone on the call who might be wondering what this word represents, it's become a pretty popular term nowadays, but it was originally coined by Judy Singer, and it's just the acknowledgement of these concepts that represent a key component of our humanness. And for many of us who have had a diagnosis or are undiagnosed with autism, ADHD, dyslexia, trauma, etc., there's many other under the umbrella. We want to highlight these unique perspectives, these unique strengths, and really flip the script that, these are not, disorders. They are not barriers necessarily, that we can embrace the concepts that actually pathologize or stigmatize someone who might have this neurology makeup. So you can go to the next slide. So a lot of our research and a lot of our concepts come from Judy's research, Gabor Mate's research. This book here, The Elephant and the Mouse, talks a lot about the diversity within and the non-equity within workplaces and school systems for people who are marginalized, basically because of their neurology. And because of the science of their makeup in their brains. And so we are trying to minimize the gaps and start to make the mice a little louder and the elephants a little smaller. So there are some strategies within our conference that we use to actually take away from the illusion of inclusion and actually start integrating some of these concepts within our community so that people are being better seen and heard and supported. You can go to the next slide. And so the reason that this is relevant is because what we're learning in just the last 10 years is that the research on ADHD, autism specifically, but we can also look at trauma and other disabilities, learning disabilities, they make up a pretty large component of the working class, and most of the adults are challenged with being accepted into the workplace and accepted into community just solely based on the fact that they have this labeling or this diagnosis that has the stigma attached to it. And what we've learned over the years of harnessing all this research is that there are many companies around the world globally who are actually starting to flip the script and employ neurodiverse folks. And they're actually seeing higher numbers in effectiveness and productivity and concepts within their businesses because they're actually focusing on the strengths and fitting the people into their systems in a different way with accommodations and understanding and just filling in those gaps. So it's a pretty large number. 6.2 million people in Canada are living with a disability under this umbrella, and so we are again just trying to spread the knowledge and acceptance and tools and resources for people to be able to better set their systems up or their workplaces, their schools, that sort of thing for the community. You can go to the next slide. So again, our mission is to just foster inclusive and supportive communities for individuals with neurodiversities and mental health challenges. This would be our third annual Beyond the Label conference. This year, our initiative is to actually showcase some of the other aspects under this umbrella. We had focused the last 2 years on ADHD and autism and a little bit of trauma last year. So this year we want to focus on fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, dyslexia, dyspraxia, looking at trauma-impacted neurodevelopment types, learning disabilities, sensory process differences, and more. And we're going to be doing this again through featured key speakers, panel discussions, and actually having lived experience storytelling and interactive workshops, and also just sharing resources. Last year, we created several resource packets that were given out for free with your attendance to the event. And we also created a tool for people to take away and try out in their businesses and in their schools to try to see if any of these tips and resources that we provided would actually help things go well and do better to support people in their environments. You can flip to the next slide because I think that's where Kathy Ann would like to jump in.
I think you got most of it already. So
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, so basically what we'll use the funds for is for venue rentals, our materials, promotional efforts. We may require to pay some of our facilitators travel fees and that since they are unemployed or underemployed. And our contributions are volunteering our time to create this and market it and deliver it. And yeah, and so our main focus is the conference in May, and any other workshops that we decide to have with any remaining money, then we can do that in this fiscal year. Next slide. Yeah, and so we're finding that the workshops have been excellent for everyone who's been attending, and they have been learning about themselves. They've been learning about what they're doing in their workplace and how they can change things to make things more accessible for other people. So it's definitely having a ripple effect throughout North Grenville and other communities. We have been attracting people from around Eastern Ontario as well, but the majority of people are from North Grenville. And we might try to get more youth involved in this one, but again, we're in the planning process at this point. The next one. Do you want to go, Rebecca, or do you want to?
Okay, sure.
Or just.
Yep, I can say this. Yeah. So basically, we're looking to continue to provide these networking opportunities within our local employment, systems here. And we've had great connections already with CSE and some other local companies, and that actually partnered with us to also support other initiatives within the day. And so that also opened up more knowledge for people within the community that didn't know those resources were there. So by providing, those local employment accesses, we're learning also about other opportunities where community acceptance is already there. So that was a really nice thing for last year. We have attracted participants from all sorts of areas, but it's mainly the traffic here. I think Kathy-Ann already alluded to that. But again, we've had employment relationships that have grown. We are seeing an impact with people just feeling better supported because their managers or their HR representatives came to the conference and learned how to implement some of these tools. And then we're also equipping the individuals with their own abilities to advocate and have autonomy in regards to how to communicate, how to advocate, how to understand their own accommodations and needs so that they feel more confident in these spaces. And again, we just feel like that's going to also just be a better impact for the economy, because if we can keep people employed and we can keep people learning skills to build confidence, everyone's going to be happy. Everyone's winning, right? Next slide.
I just want to add one thing to the economic impact as well. We had vendors at our last show, and then the collaboration. You could go back to the next slide, because it actually kind of ties into sustainability. These collaborations are starting to become more apparent because of these events. People are starting to talk with one another, and that's been really helpful to integrate some of these things into their programs. So
we've also seen too that we go out in the community, and just as an example, I went to someone's birthday party, a big 75th birthday party a couple weeks ago, and there was a couple there that were like, "Oh, you're the Diverse X people. We need to talk to you. We heard about you from someone else, and we have a teenager who's struggling with transition from youth to adulthood, and we would love to know more about the conference." And so we ended up being able to make those connections just out in the community every day. We've had other partnering communities like parent associations, school associations that have reached out to us to just have us as guests at their parent nights to just talk about what we do and what we offer. So there are partnerships building, and we just feel like that's going to just, again, build that sustainability, and, you know, have us continue to expand what we're doing in the community and reaching more and more people.
Awesome. I just want to alert you to some of our time considerations because I don't know how many slides you have left.
I think we're pretty much
Perfect.
Almost done. Yeah. I think basically, I don't know if Kathy Ann wants to talk on anything else. I think we've talked about what we need to talk about.
Yeah, you know who we are, so.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like most people on the call know who we are and know what our usual requests are.
Indeed.
And, you know, we're just happy to be here and be welcomed and included. So thank you.
Awesome. So I know I just want to make sure my council colleagues have the chance to ask a question or two. So I'll turn it over to colleagues before we move on. Council colleagues, anything? Council Sullivan, and just remember you're on mute.
Okay. Thank you very much. I will just jump in. I attended the conference last year. I thought it was excellent. I'm very happy you're planning to do it again. It was a wealth of information, and I think that neurodiversity touches families in every family, I'm sure. So thank you for all the work that you're doing. One of my questions is, have you given consideration to having the lunch by donation, like so that no one feels they can't come if they can't afford it, but that if they can drop $10 or $20 in a bucket to cover some of the costs? I think that many people would be more than willing to do that. And have you looked at any other funding sources? I know that it's mostly North Grenville, but I just wondered if you have any other funding sources that you've looked at elsewhere. And did you follow up on the successes from last year, the take-home packages? Did you follow up to find out how effective they were for folks who took them and put them to play in their workplaces?
So,
Kathy Ann?
yeah,
I know you already have the answers to all of this because you're talking about it.
All right. Yeah. So we actually have been discussing the whole food situation. So thank you for the suggestion of dropping some money in a jar, and I think that we will definitely do that because it would be valuable to have that extra incentive that way. As far as other locations, we haven't asked for funding in other locations. However, we have been discussing going to other locations and doing this conference at other municipalities if we can do that. So that's not off the table for sure. And we are in the process of actually getting solid information back from people. We have received verbal stuff, but we haven't have written communication about our packages, and that's what we're actually sending out in the near future so that we do know exactly how we can improve it and how it has affected everybody.
Great. Well, thank you, and all the best with your next conference. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Anything else, colleagues, in regards to the proposal? Okay. Well, as some of you know, I was at the parts of the conference last year and really appreciated so much of it and learned some things. And as you know, my family is affected by neurodiversity in all the right ways, and it does come with challenges. So it was great to be in a room that demonstrated such solidarity and intelligence. So it was a really excellent event. I see that Girls Inc. has their hand up, and I'm wondering, is that in relation to neurodiversity or no? That's okay, awesome. So I think, council colleagues, then we'll move on to the next presentation. Thank you both, Kathy and Rebecca, for your hard work and for the team that you've built, and we look forward to the next event for sure. Thanks for everything you're doing. All the best. Okay. Okay. Awesome. So I do see Children's Mental Health of Leeds in Grenville. Has there been a change of order? Because I think Lorena is next, unless there has been an adjustment to the agenda. Leslie, are you okay to be number 4?
Actually, that's why my hand is raised. I do have
Okay.
a timeline that
Okay.
I'm getting a little bit nervous about.
Okay.
So I was
Lor-
wondering if I could slip in front of Children's Mental Health, and I'm sorry to
Yep.
barge
Let me
in like
just check
this.
with Lorena. Lorena, what's your timeline?
Oh, absolutely. That's fine with me. My apologies. I'm not feeling well. Teddy, is that okay with you? I know you have little ones.
Yep,
but
no,
that's
it's all
okay.
good.
All right.
I'm optimistic that Leslie
apologize.
can do this in 10 minutes or less.
Absolutely.
And we've received, just so everyone knows, we have received all the PowerPoints, and many council colleagues have been reviewing those very, very closely. So don't feel like you have to cover off every, answer to the questions that were asked as part of the submission. Just like highlights, impact are helpful to us. And then we'd love, a little bit of time so we can ask you questions. So if you can keep that in mind during your presentation, that will allow us to ensure that we get to engage with you. All right, Leslie, fire away.
Thank you so much for accommodating that adjustment. So I want to start by saying I'm Leslie. I'm the Executive Director with Girls Inc. of Upper Canada. We're here tonight to ask for funding to support the delivery of accessible, inclusive programming, summer camp, and essential wraparound services for girls and their families in North Grenville. We are a local charitable organization with over 46 years of experience supporting girls' healthy development. We deliver outreach-based prevention-focused programming all across Leeds Grenville, including in North Grenville, where 20% of our participants live. We welcome all children and youth who identify as girls, including trans girls, cis girls, and non-binary youth who feel that they belong at Girls Inc. programming. And we are looking for your support to help sustain accessible programming. So next slide. I want to talk just a little bit about the need or the local need in North Grenville. So girls and gender diverse youth face unique mental health, confidence, and safety challenges, especially between the ages of 9 and 13, which is a critical developmental window. Girls experience higher rates of anxiety, depression, self-harm, bullying, and harassment. And these risks are compounded by poverty, discrimination, and rural access barriers. Statistics show us that 1 in 7 households in Leeds and Grenville are food insecure. National studies show that a sense of belonging drops in middle school for girls for a greater percentage of girls with their well-being and school safety experiences. We do have local school board studies that are being done on mental health. At this time, the gender difference is not reported on publicly, but we would imagine that the results would mimic what we see in provincial and national data. Families under financial strain often lack the ability to access affordable supportive programming, and girls are typically the first to disengage when barriers arise. Next slide, please. So why is girls-only prevention-based programming important? Many systems respond after a crisis or in response to a particular need. Girls Inc. works upstream as a prevention-based offering. Girls-only spaces provide physical and emotional safety. They also provide the freedom from gender stereotypes and social pressure, which offers girls the opportunity to build confidence, leadership, and healthy relationships. Research shows that these environments improve mental health, engagement, and long-term outcomes for girls, and in particular, girls who are marginalized. Girls Inc. fills a distinct gap in local service systems by offering prevention-focused, gender-responsive programming that's delivered by trained staff and embedded within schools and communities. Next slide. In 2025, we had 113 girls from North Grenville who participated in Girls Inc. programs. That's 20% of our total impact. We have a week-long summer camp that's offered in Kemptville each year. Last year, 30 girls participated in that, and that was the cap, so it was fully booked. We had a bi-weekly collaboration during part of the last year with the Kemptville Youth Center, where the Girls Inc. staff came in and did girls-specific programming at the youth center with some of their youth. We had the opportunity to access 2 different grants through North Grenville, both the EDI grant that was offered and the mental health grant that was offered. The EDI grant allowed us to strengthen our universal programming approach. We did work with Brockville District Association for Community Involvement to really look at our processes and try to ensure that our programming was universal in design and inclusive in nature to invite girls into programming and make sure that it was more accessible and more able to meet the needs of a variety of youth. The mental health grant allowed us to offer school programming. So we had school programs at both North Grenville and Kemptville Public School last year for a total of 56 girls. We also offered a 1-day PA day program in North Grenville. So 113 girls accessed more opportunities than 113. Like a number of those girls did more than one program. And then in addition to that, we have our wraparound supports for families. So we had our monthly grocery support program for families facing food insecurity. We had 7 North Grenville families place 24 monthly orders, which was 7% of our total grocery demand. Families order on a monthly basis. Once the child has attended programming, they're given an order form on a monthly basis, and then they choose whether or not they would benefit from that support that month, and they're able to place an order. We work in collaboration with the Brockville Area Food Bank, using their expertise and experience to try to maximize efficiency. Items that are available to order include meat, dairy, fresh fruits and vegetables, pantry staples, menstrual health products, personal care items, household items, and every family is given a number of points based on the size of their family. So they're able to have an order that's responsive to their own needs and is able to have the best impact for them. We had 13 adults, 11 children that were part of those grocery orders. Most of our families that ordered groceries were 2-parent families with 1 to 2 children in them. The other wraparound support that we offer is our No Questions Asked subsidy program. So there's no application, there's no justification or qualification needed. Families are just able to let us know that they would benefit from a either partial or full subsidy on their program fees. And then those fees are waived through our subsidy program to try to minimize financial barriers and increase participation from girls with all sorts of different backgrounds. Last year, 16 spaces were accessed by North Grenville youth at a value of close to $3,000. And in 2026, we will also be offering a week-long summer camp, a PA day program. We're continuing school-based programs. Currently, we're running in North Grenville and South Branch. Our school-based programs are available to any school in North Grenville, and those wraparound supports that I have covered will continue. Next slide. I do see that I have exceeded the time, so I'll wrap this up quickly.
It's okay.
So the impact of our investment that we're requesting will be to create opportunities and access for over 100 local girls. Girls Inc. programs inspire girls to dream big. It supports them in developing critical thinking skills, practicing their leadership skills, using their voices, and trusting themselves and their abilities. It will remove financial barriers for local families. It will help meet rising demand for subsidies and food support. And it allows us to leverage significant funding from United Way foundations, other grants, donors, and fundraising efforts. And municipal dollars will go to local impact. So we are focused on directing these funds right back to North Grenville. And I think that from the list of things that I mentioned that we're doing directly in North Grenville, we do have a significant presence in the community. Next slide. So I did want to just point out some of the ways we directly support your priorities in North Grenville. So within a caring community category, we were looking at mental health, inclusion, and food security. Your priority for a strong and vibrant community, we've talked about youth leadership, recreation, and belonging. The economic resilience, we're looking at the idea that prevention-based programming reduces long-term social costs and that local spending supports the community. And strong municipal community partnerships will help maximize impact without duplicating efforts. And then in closing, I just wanted to say that when we invest in girls, we're not just strengthening girls, we're strengthening families, schools, and communities. This support will help ensure that every girl in North Grenville can participate, belong, and thrive, regardless of income and circumstance. And support and investment from our municipal partners is significant for our sustainability. In 2025, we did have the support of many neighboring municipalities, including Edwardsburg Cardinal, Prescott, Township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands, the town of Gananoque, Merrickville, Wolford, and Rideau Lakes. So I thank you so much for the opportunity to present to you tonight. I appreciate the chance to have this conversation and for your previous support of girls and their families and the work of Girls Inc. If anyone has any questions, we'll do my best.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. So I'll go to colleagues. Thank you, Leslie. We'll recognize Deputy Mayor. Go ahead.
Thank you, Leslie. Great organization, great programming. It's nice to see the uptake that you've had over the last couple of years, doubling in effect the participants from 53 to 113. Just a little curious about the ask. The participants comprise 15 to 20% of the total participants in Leeds and Grenville. I guess that's a Leeds and Grenville number, or is
Yes.
your catchment area larger than Leeds and Grenville?
Leeds Grenville.
Okay. And the ask is for 15,000, which is 4% of your total annual budget. I'm just trying to understand $15,000. Is that directly related to the North Grenville costs, or is that just sort of to keep the organization and the program running, of which, you know, your activity in North Grenville is part of it? What's the relationship between the $15,000 ask? It's 4% of your annual budget. I mean, are you looking to other municipalities for 4% of your annual budget? I'm just trying to understand how you landed on that number.
Have that clear of a direct correlation.
Yeah.
Our direct expenses within the North Grenville community would exceed the $15,000 that we have requested. So some of the expenses that I laid out around, like the subsidy program, the direct investment in the grocery program, mileage expenses for when we're traveling, like our staff are paid a mileage fee when they're moving about within the community of Leeds Grenville. They report to sort of a central work location, and then their travel to rural locations is compensated with mileage, and then the staff time to do programming. So there's not a direct correlation between 4% of our budget, 20% of the girls that we serve come from North Grenville. I mean, like we didn't come looking for 20% of our budget with 20% of the girls. Like that obviously wasn't going to be a reasonable place to be asking. So I think that the request that was made of 15,000 felt like a significant ask, but we do have a significant population of girls participating from the North Grenville community. As far as the correlation between like other municipal investments and the percentage of girls, I can't say that they're directly tied to number of girls to number of dollars. And our participant numbers vary year over year. Like they're not super consistent as far as what percentage of girls come from which community. What is consistent is the program that we bring to that community. The biggest variable piece would be more around our school-based programming and which schools have us come into their program or into their school to deliver programming, because our North Grenville numbers almost doubled last year with the school programs that we did.
Okay.
I don't know that that directly answers, but hopefully it gives you a little bit of context.
Yeah, I think I guess basically we're contributing to the health and vitality of your organization in Leeds and Grenville, and this seemed like a reasonable number that you thought might fly with North Grenville, so that's fine.
Well, and I think that trying to build municipal investment, like we would have other municipalities that are between their in-kind investment and which would be like the waiving of direct fees, that would be in that neighborhood of $15,000. So the town of Prescott is investing in our programming close to that level, if not exceeding it last year. I don't have that number top of mind. And we have other municipalities that are giving substantially less than that. but they're relationships that we're working on across the board, like trying to build those relationships, trying to build this sort of investment and ownership as far as programming and the recognition of the value that it brings to the community.
Great.
Okay, I'm going to move on to Councillor Sullivan, just conscious of time. Councillor Sullivan.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Mayor, through you to Leslie. I will be quick. So I just wondered, you mentioned North Grenville District High School as well as Kemptville Public School. I wondered, you didn't mention the French schools or St. Michael and Holy Cross School. I wonder, do you reach out to them or do they have to reach out to you before you can set up programming in those schools?
So we reach out to them. We always send a promotional material whenever we've got programming to offer, and we go back to the schools multiple times. We have active memorandums of understanding with both the Catholic District School Board and the Upper Canada District School Board. We don't have French language services at this point in time, so that's been a barrier for the French schools, understandably. We are certainly open to working with them, but it's generally not been a demand. They are on our mailing list, so they receive our materials when we send them out. The grant that we had from North Grenville in 2025 to deliver school-based programming, we did make a very conscious effort with St. Mike's to try to get them on board because we were hopeful to have someone from the Catholic Board, someone from the Upper Canada Board, and we just weren't able to get that going. But the MOU is in place. And we have worked with St. Mike's in the past. We have worked with Holy Cross in the past. So it really is just sort of dependent on so many factors with school partnerships.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Leslie. I'm going to move on to our next presenter, but appreciate all of your good work and your contribution to girls and young women. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
For the flexibility.
Best of luck. Okay. So Lorena is here as well as Teddy. So thank you both for your flexibility. I know you're juggling a lot as well. So we are going to start running a clock with an 8-minute timer just because we are falling a bit behind. And my job as chair is to try to keep us on track. And just please keep in mind that the more time we have to ask questions, often the better and stronger our understanding is. So we appreciate having the overview, but if you can stick more or less to the 8 minutes, it means we get more time for questions. So I'll invite Lorena and Teddy to start the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Peckford and councillors for having us tonight. And I am really just here as a support. Teddy Dancy, who is a psychotherapist at our organization, is going to do the presentation.
Thank you so much, Lorena, and thank you for having us today. We're here from Children's Mental Health of Leeds in Grenville, requesting funding to provide community members in North Grenville training to build a suicide-safer community. So as Lorena said, I work with CMHLG, and ASSIST is the program that we are hoping to bring to the community if selected. Next slide, please. You can just kind of go right through actually on this one. Okay, so to start, ASSIST is a 2-day interactive workshop in suicide first aid, with the goals is that participants will become ready, willing, and able to intervene with someone who is having thoughts of suicide and equip them with skills to intervene when it matters most. It prepares people to connect others with formal supports and hope, and ASSIST facilitates a space to build confidence in completing suicide interventions, as well as build a network of safety where people can practice and discuss the skills they need to support mental health. ASSIST is a reputable training overseen by Living Works Education, and it's a standardized model that was created over 40 years ago that is now facilitated in more than 30 countries. Learners participate in real conversations, group practice, reflection, and support, build confidence, they explore their personal beliefs, and they take away tangible skills to keep people safe when they need it most. Next slide, please. So we're requesting funding in order to bring ASSIST into our communities and build that network of support that ASSIST tries to facilitate right within North Grenville. So with the money that we are asking for, we would be able to train up to 30 individuals with the training over the course of 2 separate 2-day training sessions. The idea is that we're going to be able to bring awareness of community resources that exist right within North Grenville, but also prepare people to talk about suicide and mental health in a direct and open way, which, according to research, is one of the key things we need in order to prevent suicide. Next slide, please. Assist and CMHLG both believe in having a network of people that are trained and connected so that we can show up when it matters. We all believe that everyone is equipped to help, and for us, this is a real goal in North Grenville. Our community is one that already cares about each other's well-being, and offering Assist is one way we can contribute to growing that network of people that can support each other no matter the topic. Next slide, please. When looking at the pillars of the strategic plan for North Grenville, we are going to contribute in a few ways. So offering Assist will include a focus on strengthening community engagement from people that are willing and ready to learn. It will promote a healthy lifestyle through discussion of mental health resources, and people that want to help will be able to connect with others that also want to help just by attending. Our project also advocates for a need in our community. North Grenville has been impacted by suicide in a very real way in the last few years, and we know how impactful just participating in conversations about suicide and mental health can be for a community that experienced this type of loss. Our project tries to increase community engagement with equity deserving groups through ensuring access to the workshop is offered widely across North Grenville. And our promotion plan will include strategic promotion through community-based organizations, including those that serve equity deserving groups. Next slide, please. This funding will allow us to continue offering Assist for free or low cost in our community, which is, and this training is one that normally costs hundreds of dollars when you register independently. So it's not very accessible to everyone. So our plan, in order to continue offering this in a free way or very low cost way, will require some additional funding so we can start our process and expand our reach and ensure that we can sustain it in future years. The funding will allow us to grow our list of people in our community that are trained, as well as provide more avenues to reach those that want to be trained in the future. Next slide, please. When it comes to our ability to implement this type of project, there are a few factors that help us achieve our goal. So first, we're the lead agency for children's mental health and leads in Grenville, and we're connected community members. So myself and my co-trainer works out of the Kemptville office directly, and I live and reside in North Grenville and I'm a very active member of the community. Myself and my co-trainer are also both mental health professionals, having worked in the field for over a decade. We've trained already over 28 people with Assist since June and have extensive experience facilitating other suicide alertness and mental health trainings as well. For example, I personally also facilitate a Safe Talk workshop that Living Works organizes, and I've trained over 600 people with that program since 2017. We have the support of our organization, CMHLG, who believes in the power of trainings like Assist and knows that that's opportunities like this that can help bring awareness to what to do when people are having thoughts of suicide, and in turn, maybe prevent some suicides from happening in the future. Next slide, please. This project will bring an increase of knowledge to the resources in our community specifically and beyond, and build a network of individuals who are already ready to intervene. The goal is that the more people are trained, the more people we have to intervene. We want to help connect those dots to more services and more people that can help when times are hard. Last slide, please. Our budget includes an ask of about $3,500, which is 75% of the total cost of the project. The materials would be the bulk of our cost, with some money set aside for food and beverages over the course of the 2 days for each training session, which would be provided by local businesses in our ideal world. Our application also included a request for waiving fees for renting the space at the Municipal Center for the 2 days, the two 2-day sessions. Last slide. So we hope to be able to offer Assist to members of the North Grenville community, and we believe this will be an opportunity for people to feel more equipped to talk about these types of topics. We really thank you for your consideration, and we look forward to the opportunity if we're selected.
Thank you. Beautifully done.
Thank you.
Appreciate the speed and efficiency, but also the focus. So,
all right, I spoke too fast.
No, you were great. No, it's perfect. We're running behind, so it was actually perfect. So thank you. I'll just go to council colleagues. Any questions, colleagues? My understanding, I don't see any hands. My understanding, Teddy, is that Assist was provided last year, and I think your organization was involved in overseeing the Assist training.
I'm not sure if it was offered in North Grenville by us. I facilitated a Safe Talk session at the Municipal Center last year in February. It went very well. We had a group of 8 people, and it was very welcomed by the people that came, and it was all members of North Grenville that came. It was a wonderful session. That's part of why I wanted to apply for this, was because it went so well, and I knew there was like that desire from the community to learn more.
And how many people can you accommodate again in one of these sessions? How does it work?
We can accommodate 15 people in one session. We can have more people in a session, but we find that that 15 number really keeps it as intimate as it can be, knowing that it's a hard topic and it allows people to share more when there's less people. So in one session, we're comfortable in that kind of 15 range. That's why we thought an ask for 2 sessions might be a good start to try to get 30 people. 30 sounded like a good number for 1 year.
Great. And my last question, then I'll recognize Councillor O'Sullivan. Is it just one session, or does it happen over multiple evenings?
So it's a 2-day session. So it's from 8:30 to 4:30 over 2 days back to back. It has to be 2 days in a row. So it's a large commitment for people, but it's also a training that if you were to just register online for a session in Ottawa, for example, you could be paying close to $400 for it. So it's a very, well sought after training, and we wanted to, provide that for people. It is a big commitment, but it's also something that a lot of workplaces look for to get people trained. So it could be something that might be of interest to people too.
Okay, great. I'm going to recognize Councillor Strahan and then Councillor O'Sullivan. Go ahead.
Very quickly, thank you very much, Teddy and Lorena, for coming to the ask for this community grant. I've participated in Assist workshops previously, and I can attest to the fact of the power that it has, and with the small groups and the kind of setting that you provide and the kind of sharing that happens is quite powerful and meaningful. I don't have any questions for you. I think you did a very good job at presenting the intent behind this programming and the advantages to our community. So just wanted to thank you very much for coming forward with this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Councillor Sullivan?
Okay, thank you very much. So, thanks for your presentation. I think it's a very worthy cause, absolutely. I just wanted to clarify, are these two-day sessions that you're hoping to provide?
Yes. So
North Grenville?
Yes, so it would be both in North Grenville. We were thinking one in the springtime and one in the fall. That's kind of what we were thinking for timing wise, but we're very flexible. It's just, spacing it out a little bit, trying to reach different people's needs and timelines with work and commitments and things like that. So.
Okay, thank you. And is it open to anybody? I mean, you're the Leeds Grenville Children's Mental Health. Is it open to anyone in the county?
Technically it could be, but our promotion would be focused on the North Grenville specific area, especially if the funding was coming from this, right? Like we would ideally like to see it mostly in North Grenville, right? But we are Leeds Grenville. So, if, we would make sure we collect that information in our registration form to know where people are coming from and make sure that the majority of folks are from North Grenville specifically, because that's important if the funding's coming from North Grenville.
Okay, so have you asked for anyone else for funding and perhaps have one session here and one session somewhere else in the county and people could commute a little bit? That's one question. The other one is, have you considered charging a nominal registration fee? I mean, sometimes it sounds harsh, but sometimes people don't appreciate what's free. They don't appreciate the value of this. Like you said, if it's something that an employer might want you to have, if someone was to pay even $100 for the 2 days and then perhaps recoup that from an employer, I don't know. I think sometimes you'll get people more committed too. People might register and then not show up and take a valuable spot. So I'd be concerned about having it free when it's such a good value and having people maybe take advantage of it.
Absolutely. And we've definitely talked about that for sure. So we talked about charging a very low fee just to, as a way to ensure people show up, but not so much that it would be then a barrier for people to access. So just kind of like enough that it feels like, you're committed to it, but not a lot. And that's important to us too, because we don't want it to be a barrier. We want people to get the training.
Yeah, and you don't want to waste a precious seat at the table if someone just fluffs it off. Anyway, thank you.
You're welcome.
The best to you. Thank you.
We have just to answer your first question, I just thought I'd mention that this is the first year where we've had assist trainers, like where this is the first time where we've been able to offer this training widely. And so although we haven't gone to other municipalities yet, we thought we'd start here, knowing that there's a need in the community. We live in the community, we work in the community, and we wanted to start here and see where we can go from here. So this is our first kind of like step into this for offering it widely.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you both, Teddy and Lorena. I know how hard you work on behalf of children, certainly in our community and in the region. So thanks for your time. And I would just say as a word of caution, a lot of programming is offered in other communities. So as much as it might be fair to consider looking at 2 different locations, I think the reality is people are having to travel to Brockville and Ottawa for all sorts of things. So I think if you can do 2 sessions here, there's value in that. As we fight to keep our local public health office open, we know that the struggle is real. So we appreciate when programming can be offered here to decrease barriers to access. But nonetheless, thank you so much for your time and for your flexibility this evening. And we look forward to being in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Peckford. We appreciate it. And as you know, I've always appreciated you've been a huge supporter of children's mental health of Leeds and Grenville. And everyone's done a great job with their presentations. You have difficult decisions to make based on that. But wow, what an exceptional community you have. So thank you very much for having us.
Well, and thank you for being part of it. Thank you. So colleagues, we'll move on now, and I believe I'm recognizing the Kemptville Legion. Is that correct? Do we have Carolyn here? Yes. Hi.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi. Nice to see both of you. All right. So we are going to run the clock because not surprisingly, we're running a little bit behind. So you'll see the 8-minute counter just in terms of providing an overview, and then we'll have lots of time for questions. Thanks.
Sure.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Next slide, please. So we at the Kemptville Legion, we're a nonprofit organization supporting veterans, their families, as well as the broader community. We pride ourselves on making donations such as the Kemptville District Hospital, Salvation Army, Lions Club, Beth Donovan, Youth Center, House of Lazarus, and North Grenville Community Service Council, just to name a few. We offer bursaries to graduating post-secondary students and host public speaking and poster contests for elementary students to promote engagement from the upcoming generation. Paint nights, bingo, community breakfast, open mic, music nights, branch 212 dart leagues, and hosting regional dart competitions are a few examples of events we host. Next, please. Robbie Burns dinner, which we've just completed. The New Year's Day levy had become quite popular, and we pride ourselves on knowing the impact these special events have on creating positive mental and emotional state. We feel it is important for visitors to feel comfortable and safe while visiting the Legion. The following are visual impacts we feel necessary to accomplish this. Next, please. So our ceiling tiles in our main hall, they're water stained, some of them are broken. Replacing these would make the community feel safer and cleaner and make the hall more welcoming. Next, please. Our toilets are extremely old, stained, and not water efficient. New ones would be raised, which is called a chair height, for added comfort for our seniors. Next, please. The window curtains, they're old, broken, dated plastic ones. The new ones would be added benefit for economical use for our heating and our cooling. Next, please. Our main bathroom upstairs is our, what's it called? Our accessible bathroom. The one part of it is really broken. The floor sustained broken tiles due to water leakage and wood rot. Next, please. We like to upgrade the breakers and the plugs in our kitchen, which is used for our monthly breakfasts and any rentals that we have, to provide efficient use and to stop the nuisance tripping of the breakers during our kitchen usage. Next, please. We like to update the dart lights. It upgrades the facility, provides a brighter, more user-friendly appearance for this very popular weekly event. Next, please. We'd like to add some pot lights and outside security. Economical lighting will lower our monthly electricity costs. And as you can see by that one picture, the outside light in the back is needed to cover a larger area for our volunteer staff and our community members. Next, please. The Kempo Legion Executive Committee would like to thank the Mayor, Council, the Community Grant Program Coordinators for taking the time to listen to our presentation and providing Branch 212 this generous opportunity to continue our mission of supporting veterans and the North Grenville residents.
Just unmuting. Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate all of the photographs in addition to the explanation. I'll look to council colleagues. Any questions, colleagues, in regards to this mission? Deputy Mayor, yes, go ahead.
Thank you for that presentation, Carolyn. All badly needed upgrades. It's very, very reasonable what you're suggesting to do. But you do know that we can only fund 75% of the ask. Was that an oversight? Was that an oversight in asking for 100% rather than 75%?
I'm not sure. No, I don't think so.
Okay. So are you prepared, if we love your grant application, are you prepared to deal with 75% of the ask?
Oh, yes. Yes, for sure. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll pick, I mean, amongst the executive members, we can pick obviously the more important one for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Great. Other questions, colleagues? So just a question, and forgive me, does the Legion have particular corporate sponsors, or do you generate revenue from, I guess, a small number of membership fees and events? What's the revenue generation model? I understand you obviously likely own your building, of course. So just curious to know how you keep it all moving.
So I can answer that question. As far as the building goes, the Kemptville Branch 212 does own the building. We are mortgage free. Now, in the unfortunate circumstance that the branch could no longer afford to keep the doors open, we don't get to keep the building. It automatically goes to Dominion Command. They take over.
Wow.
The only little bit of revenue that we receive from the Legion is so every member and every Legion can dictate how much they want to charge a membership. Out of that membership, for example, $50, Dominion and Command will take 45 of those dollars for all of their administration. Wow. So we are only left with a very small percentage of what a member pays. Of course, not near enough to keep the buildings open. So this is where we get into, doing fundraising and our hall rentals. We do our monthly breakfast. We do look for sponsorships for breakfast, which every once in a while we do get a small sponsor of a breakfast, which it helps out a little bit. But we have an old building and it's in need of some TLC.
And thank you for explaining that you're fairly constrained in terms of using membership fees in particular, right, to support some of those other costs. And we see how much you're doing in the community. So my questions are really just to highlight, I think, that there are some challenges, right, to ensure that you're able to do all the things you'd like to do to keep that lovely building and that space working optimally. So thank you. I'll go to Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. And obviously, you do need some definite upgrades. I noted that that the labor costs for most of this are going to be done by volunteers, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Because certainly if you had to do all that and pay labor as well, it would be you couldn't do it all. And I just wondered, in terms of contingency, like when you talked about the floor in the bathroom and wood rot underneath it, once you tear those tiles up, you might find that a lot more needs to be done than you expected needed to be done. So given that, and given the fact that you have a lot of volunteer hours and time going in, as Deputy Mayor Barclay mentioned, we only fund up to 75% of the project, but we haven't talked about how much we can fund at all yet. But I wonder if we could consider the fact that you are providing all the labor, volunteer labor, if that could be considered a portion of the expenses. So anyways, just something I wanted to clarify, that you're providing labor as much as possible.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Great.
And Councillor Sullivan, to your point, I think in past years, we have recognized in-kind labor as a contribution towards that 75-25 split. So I think that is a consideration here for sure. We have done it with other groups, as I recall. So, well, thank you. Thanks. Yes. If there are no other questions, I think we'll move on. Thank you. Your presentation is very self-explanatory, and the photos, as much as we've all been in that building, the photos paint a clear picture of where for a relatively small amount, you can make some really important improvements. So we appreciate that you've taken the time through the community grants process to highlight some worthy investments. So thanks again for your time. And for all of your work. And I heard Robbie Burns was awesome. So well done.
It was a fantastic night.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Good. So we'll move on. You guys are good to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yes, you as well. All right, colleagues, as you know, we've heard from the football club. Why don't we hear from Kemptville Snowmobile Club, and then maybe if colleagues need a quick break, we can take one. Do we have the Snowmobile Club with us this evening?
Yeah, I'm here. This is Sylvain.
Oh, great. Hi.
Can you just see if I can put my video on?
No problem.
There we go.
Take your time.
Okay,
Yes.
there you go.
Great.
Here I am.
Yeah, welcome. And
Thank
again,
you.
we now have implemented the practice of running the clock. So you'll see it there on the bottom. You've got about 8 minutes. And then hopefully we'll be able to ask you some questions.
Okay, perfect.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so let me start. So my name is Sylvain Lacroix-Fournier. I'm the treasurer for the Kemptville Snowmobile Club. So first slide. So the first blue slide, I'm just going to talk a bit about us. So if you turn to the next slide, please. Okay, so who we are. So we are a not-for-profit organization. We have around 103 volunteers doing over 3,200 hours of volunteering a year. What's our mandate? So our mandate is to promote the snowmobile sport within the community by engaging in activity that supports safety, environment, and community presence. Our funding, so funding is received by the Ontario government for the maintenance of the trail. So anything for maintaining the trail, the grooming, it's all paid by the Ontario government. And it's based on the number of miles that we have to maintain. Operation costs of the club, it's all funded by fundraising activity. The cost to maintain the club, it's around approximately $22,000 a year that we have to fundraise just to maintain it, the operation of the club. Next slide, please. So community involvement. So listed here are events that we held at the club. Most of them are fundraising activity, except for the landowner dinner, which is to thank them for letting us use their land. We also have the Snorama that we have every year, where we raise the fund, and it's all going to the Easter seal. We just had our Snorama last Sunday. Well, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And also we have the Girl Guide canteen. So on Saturday and Sunday during the snowmobile season, they use the kitchen, and they provide some sandwiches and soup to the member that goes snowmobiling. And they keep the fund, so that's for their own fundraising. So they use our kitchen, and then they can use the fund to do their project, their activity. Also listed in here, we have other events that are held in the community where the Snowmobile Club is involved. So Plowing Match, the Cattleman Association, the Motorcycle Show, and the Christmas Parade. Next slide. So our project, so it's a capital project. So we are asking for funding to purchase equipment to provide safe, accessible space. We want to purchase a defibrillator, install a power door, and also purchase a smart TV for allowing projection for courses. So our objective is to increase the potential use of the clubhouse for members and for the community by creating a safer environment, easier access, and presentation capability. So right now we charge around $100 for an evening or a morning or afternoon for half the day for a few hours. And we have not been promoting the space to a larger community right now. We're just within our club member. However, with those additions, we want to promote the space at a larger scale. Next slide, please. So our total cost of those items is $7,900. So the item that we want to purchase is a defibrillator for $3,006. We have a power door, which is $2,008. And then the Fire TV, which is $1,500 for a total of $7,900. So we are asking for 75% of the cost to be covered by the municipality, which is around $5,900. So, and of course, we want to install that as soon as possible. So whenever we have the fund. So this is it for me. So thank you for your attention. So any question?
Thank you so much. So I'll go to council colleagues and see if they have any questions. I know one of my questions is, we have had some conversation in the community about the value of defibrillators. So why is that item at the top of your list?
It's just for safety, right? So for us, really, we want to provide because you never know when something can happen. So for us to be more prudent, we want to make sure we have defibrillator. We think it's very important to have it at the club.
And I will recognize Councillor Sullivan. I just have one more question. What's the value of the power door or the power box?
It's for people with disability to come in, right? So if we want to offer the space and rent the space at a larger scale, we want to make sure that we have a power door that's for a wheelchair, and you know that it's easier to access. So you don't have to open it, right? It opens by itself.
Understood. And the current entrances you have to the club, would those other entrances not be accessible?
It is. It's not power. So of course there's a door. There's enough space so they can enter. Yes, but it's not power.
Understood. Okay, thanks. I'll go to Councillor Sullivan. Go ahead, Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll be quick again to Sylvain. Thanks for your presentation. I've attended a couple of functions there, and it's a great space for groups to rent, and our community has used it for our Christmas parties for 2 or 3 years, I think. I just wondered, have you looked into any other accessibility grants through the province for support for your power door?
So I think we're looking into, we haven't yet. I think we're looking to, there's some grant that are closing at the end of March. So we want to apply to that one if we, yeah. So we're looking into that one, but we haven't applied yet. But it's on our list to do. But I think that the closing date is March 5th or something like that.
Okay, thank you. And just to remind me, please, do you have an accessible washroom already in there?
Yes, we do. Yes,
Okay.
yes, there is one. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. That's all my question.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Sylvain, very much. I know that there is a limited number of community spaces in North Grenville, so it's nice to see that you want to increase the accessibility and awareness that this fabulous space exists. So well done. And we look forward to being in touch. Thanks for being here this evening.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
So I know we have several presentations left. Council colleagues, would it be helpful to take a 5 to 7 minute break? Would you appreciate that? Okay. Okay, so then if you could just mute and turn off your cameras, and it's 8:04. So if we can endeavor to be back just after 8:10-ish, that would be great. I know there's lots of individuals left eager to present, but I think the break will be good for everyone. Okay, thanks. Okay, colleagues. Just wait for everyone to join. Okay. Just want to cue from Councillor Wilson that she's with us. And then we'll wait for Caitlin as well.
I'm here. Debbie's here.
Hi, Debbie. We've got our clerk. Okay. I think most staff are likely back. So with that, we'll move on. And I see Sharon is here from the Navy League in regards to the Sea Cadet program. So Sharon, if you're good to go, we'll just make sure the clock is running for you.
Sure.
And we'll get your slides up. Okay.
So I'm just going to do a brief introduction. My name is Sharon Roach. I'm the current Navy League president here at the Kemptville branch. Myself, along with our volunteers, support the Navy League Cadet program, along with the Royal Canadian Sea Cadet program, Defiant. As these two presentations that we're going to present tonight are a little bit on the technical side, I am actually going to defer to Lieutenant Commander Chris Churchill. He is the former CEO of Defiant here in Kemptville, and he's been involved in the cadet program since 2013, along with many other community programs within Kemptville and North Grenville. So without further ado, Chris, I will pass it over to you.
Perfect. Thanks very much. We'll, I know you guys have had a chance to go through the presentation already, so we'll kind of skim through this pretty fast, but I'll try and key on the main points as we go through. Next slide, please. So this is our intro. We've kind of covered some of this off already. The program has been around in North Grenville for years and is well known, so we don't need to really go through that. What we'll end up doing is going to the next slide. So the program itself, it's open to all Canadian youth. It instills military values, develops citizen leadership and fitness, and provides them with a host of skills. A lot of theory skills as well as practical goes through the youth through the program. This particular ask keys off on turning some of those theoretical things we're teaching them into more practical applications. Next slide. A few years ago, we had the Cadet Renewal Program. So this was a program that ran through, looked at deficiencies within the program. How can we engage more of the youth, and what is going to bring them in and retain them within that? One of the things was those practical applications of the theory, as well as giving them a chance to interact and develop those relationships with other cadets more, which is what the simulator will ultimately do. Next slide. So the simulator benefits of that is it's really a cost-effective way for us to go ahead and get the theoretical into a practical force. So with the presentation we have now, we're looking at a multi-station simulator, which allows us to get roughly 6 or 7 cadets active at a single time going through it, learning different sets. Already, this is a program that a lot of the lessons have already been developed for, so it's just a matter of implementing it. We don't have to start from ground zero. It's open to all members of the unit, and again, goes to develop that leadership and teamwork within as they learn each of those stations and continue going forward. Next slide. So this is what, I mean, the bridge of a modern ship looks like. It's joysticks, it's computer screens, buttons, toggle switches. Next slide. What it isn't anymore is this. So gone are the big ships and sailing. We do that within the program. However, that would be a much more difficult thing to try and do a simulator for. Next slide. So this is the software that we're using. It's Dangerous Waters. What it allows us to do is use a frigate or a submarine, as well as you have the ability to interact with other corps. So it's interactive with other corps where you could then float in a flotilla and you could do two frigates or a frigate and a submarine working at the same time. It also allows us to interact with air cadet squadrons, and they could fly either fixed wing or rotary craft as well. Next slide. Internet connectivity at the core has already been upgraded for this, so that shouldn't be an issue. Next slide. So this is operational, not tactical, right? The software itself, there is another version of a freeware software that will this configuration will work on both. It's all about implementing navigation, replenishment at sea, maritime law, collision regulations, all of those things that we go in and touch on throughout the program. This is a practical application to get that done. So there isn't going to be like a video game like you might see your kids doing. This is more focused on the simulation for each of those specific sorry, I lost my train of thought. Each of those specific stations. Next slide. So it's multi-participant. On this particular configuration, we have radar, sonar, helm, navigation, bridge stations. We also have electric charting. So in our 4th year of the program, we teach the cadets charting. They get to chart that out on paper. We can then implement that into the electrical charting system. Then they can actually go through and drive their course that they've plotted. So it allows multiple phases, right? So phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to be able to go in there and utilize the skills that they've gotten. Next slide. This is our proposed configuration. So it gives a 180-degree view through the bridge windows. So you'll be able to take bearings off of that. You'll be able to then integrate that with watch keeping, so we can cover off some of that as well. It also allows us to use those navigation sonar, bring in other stations as well to engage as many of the cadets in one time as possible. Next slide. These are the requirements. Again, this is just a list of what we've already seen in the diagram. Next slide. So this is the PC configurations. It's fairly generic. We're not talking high-end machines to run this software. Both of the software that we're looking at run on a regular desktop machine without any issues. Next slide. Yep. Costing options. Again, you guys have already seen that in the bid. Next slide. So supporting slides. If you just kind of want to go through each of these half a second, it kind of shows you what is there now. These are the actual stations that they will get a chance to use. So sonar stations, radar stations. So it integrates as many of those different stations. You're going to get a view of what that would actually look like now. Simulated marine rescue, so we can come in, we can come alongside that, we can float in a flotilla, so engaging other cadets, corps as well, and being able to go through and work in parallel with those other ones. So anytime you have multiple ships going in a formation, it requires a lot of communication. Communication is something that, as well, certainly as an adult I work at, I know our cadets are also working on those as well. Next slide. So this is our last slide. This one here really looks at our performance objectives. So this is where we hit on our theory parts. So the program is built around a whole bunch of these. These are the main ones that we incorporate when we start to look at this and turn it into the simulation. We touch on leadership, general knowledge, maritime community, rope work, small craft operations, ship operations, and nautical training. Now we can take those theory lessons that we've provided, and on the Saturday training, we can then implement those into the simulator, and they can get through and figure out the actual practical applications of those. And that is the end of it. So I kind of went through that fairly quickly because I know I was on a timeline, and all I could see is the clock counting down.
Totally.
So I just want to add one thing briefly on there, and we think of North Grenville as being landlocked. We don't think of it as the East Coast or the West Coast where everyone thinks of marine industry, but being on the doorstep of the St. Lawrence Seaway and the Great Lakes, this opens up these youth to the different type of marine industries that are out there, and it lets them know that there's jobs that can be had that don't necessarily be on a ship. So whether it's sitting at a cockpit at a lock station or something like that, so it's really beneficial to them to show them what's out there.
Excellent, thank you. So I'll just go to council colleagues for any questions, and I see Deputy Mayor. Oh, Deputy Mayor, you're muted.
Sorry, I'll be quick. I've been to the Center for Marine Training and Research in Owen Sound, and I've seen their simulator in action, and I can attest to its value in terms of training next to real world training. It's excellent, and I'm so happy to see you get involved in considering a smaller simulator, but one nonetheless very valuable in terms of training, and it should generate a lot of interest in young people in this community to get behind.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. It's been something that's been on our wish list for a while. It's just it took the right amount of staff coming on to be able to support it, and having everything there to make it work. So we finally have that now, which is why we're here hoping to go forward with this.
Just a quick question for me in the absence of other hands. And we appreciate the value of this investment. I just know there's been such a heavy emphasis by the federal government on obviously investing in the Canadian military overall, including the Canadian Armed Forces. And I see your reference to COATS, the Canadian Organizations Administrative and Training Service, supporting the delivery of the simulation programs. So I'm somewhat intrigued by the fact that you bear the burden to bring in the simulation equipment, right, on behalf of the cadets, so that they can be properly equipped. We know there's a direct benefit to the work that your organization does and the broader organization does. So I'm just wondering if you have any comments about other avenues of funding within the Canadian military itself. I presume not, which is why you're here. So I totally understand that. But, we have a federal government right now that appears to be, signaling a major shift in funding many different aspects of the military. So it's just curious to me that something that appears to be so basic at this time would not have any funding at a national level. Am I missing the mark on that?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
So the way that the Department of National Defense shares that responsibility and the cost with the Navy League. They provide uniforms, they provide training, they provide summer training where they're sending them away to those kinds of opportunities. Even with the renewed funding, we're not seeing a deployment of simulators to the local corps. Is that something that could happen down the road? It could. Anything is possible, but I doubt it. I think what they would do is focus that on more opportunities to get them into actual ships. So I know one of the things that was brought about was looking at a replenishment ship for all of the Naval Reserve units, and then trying to get the cadets onto those. So as opposed to having orcas on the West Coast, they would have one for each of their reserve units, and ours would be located from HMCS Carleton down on the St. Lawrence. So they're looking at funding from that kind of a perspective, as opposed to the simulator itself. However, the same software that we're going to be using is the same software that one of the reserve units has already implemented for them because they saw the value in it themselves.
Okay. Certainly it's helpful to have that additional context. So appreciate this and the value of certainly deploying this technology to help our youth understand sort of the tremendous opportunity, to Sharon's point, that exists. So this has been fascinating. I've learned a lot. Colleagues, anything else before we move on? All right. Can I just ask my last lingering question? So I know technology is changing all the time, right? So I can see from your submission that you expect the lifespan of the equipment, right, and the programming to be many years. Obviously, as technology changes, perhaps that understanding shifts. Do you have any other comment? Like, would you see this as a once in a decade investment? Like, or what's your read?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, currently both of those softwares run on really low end PCs, right? No
Right.
different than you would get for your kid going to high school.
Okay.
So they're not being driven by the gaming industry, which quite frankly drives a lot of that technology. The software that we have will actually run on older machines as well. So from an investment in the infrastructure perspective, it's more of a, will your laptop last 10 years or 12 years? These won't get used every day, and the configuration and the storage of those will be done as such so that they will try and maximize their lifespan. But I mean, from a software perspective, neither of these two softwares will be out of date. The free version is less graphically intense than the pay for version, but it still allows us to do everything we need to do. We can still take bearings off of it. You can still plot a course. You can still interact with other ships coming at you. Okay, so what are we going to do in this particular situation? And allows us to really continue to use or implement an environment where that theory then gets put into practical uses.
Okay, great. And the number of desktop computers and laptops required, just what would the number be again?
That is a great question. Let me just
I just don't see it in the application, but maybe I've missed it.
Yeah, I think it was 6 laptops and 5 desktops.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
the desktops are to run the big the big one, and the laptops would be for all of your different stations.
Okay, understood. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate all of the good work of the cadet program, and I know it takes a lot of heavy lifting by many different contributors in the community. So appreciate your dedication and commitment. And I know there's been a lot of growth in the Navy League, so thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right.
We have one more though. We have one more presentation. So
we have, right. I see that now. Yes.
We're back to that.
Okay. So you're on to number 2. Okay. I apologize. I missed that in my
like I said,
reading.
We had 2 priorities on our these have been on our radar for a long time, and with COVID and things like that, and then staffing issues and financial areas, we've been waiting and holding off till we were able to support these properly before putting them forward.
Understood. Okay. Fire away.
Perfect. So our next presentation is going to be on our Marine VHF radio station. So this will be a base station based at RCSTC Defiant. This will interact with our simulator if that goes forward, and will allow VHF communication with other cores. So then you can actually look at using the radio to do those flotilla type events where we're now going to be driving these ships in a formation. Next slide. So what this will do is it'll install a VHF base station at Defiant. It's going to improve the communication reliability. So right now we have limited communications when we're doing on-water activities. Those are done through commercially available walkie-talkies. What's come out recently is a movement within the cadet organization to operate base stations, which will allow communication between corps. So those are between Army, Air, and Sea Corps, as well as they have events a couple times a year where they actually get to interact with VHF radio to corps in Britain and overseas as well. One of the things this is going to do, again, this is our trying to get theoretical into practical applications. It gives us the ability to look at a restricted operator's certificate and a basic radio operator certificate. So these are industry standards. It's no different than your driver's license. Once you get those, you are licensed for that. And that is another piece of certification and a skill set that the cadets will get to take with them going forward. Next up, or next slide. So why this matters, again, the limited range of the commercial walkie-talkies are there. Realistically, a 45 kilometer walkie-talkie won't get you around Kemptville. It's affected by weather. It's affected by trees and houses and whatnot. This will allow us, when we're on the water, to be able to contact the base station at the core, which will actually enhance our ability to deal with emergencies should those arise on the water. Next slide. So these are some of the benefits. Benefits to the youth is with the certifications, right? It's no different than giving them, taking them to camp and teaching them how to drive a car. Once they have that skill set and that certification, it's theirs for life. It provides a practical application of the theory, enhances water safety, and community preparedness. So once they have this restricted operator's card, that allows them to run a VHF on a ship of their own going forward, and interact with OPP, Coast Guard, as well as other boats and vessels. Next slide. So it builds leadership and teamwork, of course. Again, this is what the cadet program is all about. Helps them with decision-making under pressure, improves clear and effective communication, which is something that as a society we struggle with, and also helps boost confidence. So once you get your card, if you got your driver's license and didn't drive again for 5 years, you wouldn't be very comfortable being driving. This will allow us to take the skills and their certifications that they're getting and keeping them active as well. Next slide. So real world communications training gives them hand-on experience. Again, provides that safety oversight during sailing and boating training, as well as training within the community itself. And as I mentioned, it interacts with Coast Guard, law enforcement, military and emergency services. So if there's a need, you can also raise those and it gives them skills that they can use for those careers in those areas going forward. Next slide. Interagency support and interoperability, just like our simulator program, this will allow us to communicate not just with Coast Guard OPP, but also with other cadet units, as well as amateur radio stations throughout the country. So this allows us opportunities to expand, and really for the cadets, it's about touching base with friends that they've made along the way. Which for the youth is one of the big pulls for the program itself. Next slide. This is the technical overview of the base station and what it's going to require. So there's your true receiver and antenna, grounding supply, battery backups, and licensing and installation. That is all fairly standard. Next slide. Project timeline. So this is what we need to do to move forward. Look at that site survey to confirm all the parts that we would require. Regulatory applications. So the Defiant has already been awarded its base station license. Procure the equipment, installation, and then of course the testing and operational launch. Is expected to take up to 4 months, depending on when this goes forward from the time we get the green light until the time we're operational. Next slide. Our project costs for everything right there is coming in at around $7,200 based on the current costing that we received. Next slide. Request for municipal support, so that site support, installation, and facilitation. So of course we'll be working with the facilities people to make that happen at the core. Technical coordination and assistance, and then that investment in the youth safety and community resilience. Next slide. Is that it? That is it. Perfect.
Excellent. Okay, awesome. So I see Councillor Wilson's hand. Go ahead, Councillor Wilson.
Hi, thank you for your presentations, Chris and Sharon. I just have a question. If you had to, these are great projects, by the way. The cadet corps is just a super bunch of kids in Kemptville, and I'm glad to see it going forward. As you know, I'll give a little brag point here. Graham's Bakery is a big supporter of the cadets. If you had a choice for the two projects to do in 1 year, which one would you do?
So that's why we
go
put
ahead,
forth. That's why we put forth priority 1 and priority 2.
Okay, yeah.
We
So
can-
priority
we can-
1 would be the yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been on the
I understand that, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay, thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
Great question, Councillor Wilson. Anything else on this particular presentation? Okay, I don't see any other hands. So thank you, Chris and Sharon, for both. It's obvious that you're certainly contemplating the future and wanting to ensure the kids in our community get the best opportunities and access to a lot of the innovations that exist. So appreciate, again, your time and your energy into what is such a valuable youth engagement and youth development program here in North Granville.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the time tonight.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. All right, colleagues, I'm going to move on. Just so you're aware, we've got North Granville Pride, the North Granville Arts Guild, and the North Granville Community Meals Association. And I just want to check. Oh, I do see Ira here. So Ira, you're up next. If you're able. Wonderful. Nice to see you.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you guys.
And we will run the clock as we've been doing. So you have a guide for your 8 minutes, and then we look forward to asking some questions. Thank you.
I will try to go through as quickly as possible.
Sounds good.
So we can just kind of go slide to slide. So as you know, a huge part of North Granville Pride's mission are the 3 pillars of education, celebration, and reducing social isolation. So the Shared Lens Project, at its core, is to create more community space to build inclusion. It is for, of course, entertainment. It is for community building. And of course, the fun part at the end of each of these sessions that we're looking to plan will be discussion. So we can continue going forward. So the 4 pieces that we really wanted to make sure that we encapsulated with the Shared Lens Project is to make it a safe space, an inclusive space, to build that diversity that we're always trying to work on here in North Granville, and of course to make sure that we are celebrating the creators of the content that we're looking to share. Next slide. So ideally, we want to be able to partner with the campus to run 2 films per month, obviously not on the same schedule. So we're going to be looking at weekdays, we're going to be looking at weekends, evenings, and daytime, so that we can have 2 different films that are specifically around the queer experience, as well as educational pieces for the wider community. Next slide. So ultimately, it comes down to looking at the economic barriers that stop people from en masse getting together to enjoy films. One of the issues with sharing films, of course, is licensing to actually show the films. Another one is simply the cost of going out to films. And what we're really trying to do is, by partnering with the campus and other community resources, look at distributing that cost in a much smaller way to open the doors to as many people as possible. Next slide. So obviously, one of the biggest things about art, beyond the educational possibilities of the films that we'd like to show, is the entertainment of it. It is the art of it. It is bringing artists and creators from outside of our region in, where we can show people who wouldn't otherwise have access to these different pieces of art, and being able to have the discussion around them, so that we can really, again, reduce the social isolation by bringing people together, as well as the educational abilities of celebrating our culture. Next slide. I'm going to try and move as fast as I can through these. So at the heart of everything that NG Pride does, it is about helping to build a diverse environment here in North Grenville, being as inclusive to as many groups as possible, while also championing our own community. So this project furthers that by looking at partnering with not just the campus, and of course the municipality, other community organizations, and reaching out further through our Rural Pride network to continue that growth of bringing our community together. Next slide. So we also wanted to make sure that we're aligning our projects to the North Grenville municipality's strategic plan. So looking at balanced, environmentally sustainable growth, strong connectivity, or strong, connected, and vibrant community, diverse and resilient economic development, efficient governance, service delivery, and a caring community. And I'll touch on those in the next few slides, and we can move quickly through those. Just looking at that clock.
Okay.
I know you guys are behind anyway, so I'm just like, I'm focused in here. All right. So part of this is, of course, having a small environmental footprint. So instead of looking at building any new facilities, we're looking to, of course, utilize the campus's shared facilities. And we're looking to also reduce the footprint on people driving. So yes, there's lots of parking at the campus, but it's such a prime spot for NG Transit, for walking, and for carpooling. Next slide. Excuse me. So another huge piece of this, and I'll touch on it over and over again, is that connectivity. It is about bringing community together. It is about reducing the isolation and giving a chance for people to actually get together in fun and safe spaces. So that is such a huge part for us of what it means to build a vibrant community and to continue working within one. Next slide. So one of the other pieces here is we want to build a project that starts off being supported, but is also about being able to support on its own. So looking at the different streams that we can bring things together. So donations, of course, grant money, and sort of self-funding with the other work that we're doing, and being able to partner with things like the North Grenville Youth Filmmakers Club and Beth Donovan Hospice, and really be as self-reliant as possible as we move through this project. Next slide. So the sort of final piece on the governance and self-delivery is that we, of course, are completely volunteer run. So it is all within our community that we're going to come together to help run this, from a sense of the discussion to operating the equipment required for this, and really deliver the ability for other people who want to step forward and continue to learn how to volunteer within the community, and partner with some other resources through that. Next slide. And at the end of it all, it again is about our main pillars, which is education, celebration, and reducing social isolation. Advocacy, of course, is sort of that overarching principle that guides everything that we do, which is why we're looking at having very specific queer lenses for the Shared Lens project, so that we're looking at bringing that diversity and inclusion, educating, and bringing our community together as a whole, while also inviting everyone else in from the North Grenville community to share that with us, because such a huge part of what we want to do is share joy within our community. Next slide. So the funding really is about offsetting some of the costs. Licensing for films is incredibly expensive, as well as finding space. Although we'll be partnering with the campus, there's obviously costs to that sharing of the space, as well as potential new equipment required that the campus wishes to also partner with us on. So the administration of the project itself is one of the heaviest parts of running a project like this. And so that's why we want to really focus on using the funding towards the right pieces and getting our volunteers to push for the rest of it. Next slide. Again, the end of this really is about bringing youth together with the rest of our community, with our seniors, within both the queer spaces as well as the rest of the North Grenville community, so that we can share film, we can share an enjoyment of entertainment and arts and discussion, and really bring the entire community together. Because film and art is always going to be something that I think really levels the playing field. That's it. That's the entire presentation. 50 seconds to spare.
Every presenter just keeps getting better and better. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. And I'll look to colleagues for any questions. Do you have any? I have a question about licensing fees, because I can see that's amongst the biggest of your expenses. I really appreciate that you're looking at that campus that campus theater space, auditorium space, I think, for the films themselves. But help me understand why the licensing fees appear to be so expensive. Is it obviously it's not within your control? Anytime I presume you actually stream a film, you're subject to, I guess, different considerations based upon the number of people who are watching the film. I don't know a lot about this area.
In the main, it is essentially paying for permission to show the film. Obviously, if you want to throw Netflix on at home and invite a bunch of friends over, there's no additional cost to that. The second you wish to show in public, whether you're looking to collect fees for it or not, these different studios and governing bodies request certain licensing fees to have access to the film for that period of time. And so there's a sliding scale with some of these organizations, where depending on whether you're using it for fundraising or just for education or entertainment, there's a different fee. But if we want to be showing 2 films a month, then those fees are going to climb very quickly, even if we are just using it as education entertainment. And of course, we have no control over the governing bodies and how they set their prices. And different organizations and different studios and other locations where we might get access to these films, it's all very different. Of course, we'd love to believe that every time that we pay any fee to show something, it's mostly going to the artists and the creators, but the truth is it's governing bodies.
Indeed. Okay. That's helpful. Colleagues, anything else? So my only other question is, obviously the campus is a willing collaborator here. Obviously, they have a fairly, I think, underutilized auditorium, so I'm sure they would welcome a sort of regular film series playing at one of their prime locations. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's something we've been in talks with them for a while about, because they really have been looking for an excuse but to upgrade some of their facilities as well. And because it's so accessible at the campus, it makes such a great space to continue trying to ultimately invest and double down on making it a community destination. So, and our offices are on the campus. A lot of the time when we're renting space, we're renting it from the campus. Even for Pride and the after party, we're using campus space. It's sort of a partnership that we are trying to strengthen year over year.
How would you define success in terms of the number of people who might come out for film? I know obviously it would vary, of course, on the subject matter and how popular. I have a feeling if you played Heated Rivalry, you might get a really strong response. But in any case,
I think that is 0. So Heated Rivalry. No, so we're really looking for anywhere from 10 to 15 people to start, because of course it takes time to promote. We are hoping, of course, to be hitting those sort of 20s and 30s on a regular basis. Part of this is going to be that iterative approach of figuring out what timing works for people. Days, evenings, weekends, and weekdays, trying to find how we connect with different groups within our community so that we can sort of average out over the month, high 20s, low 30s would be ideal.
Gotcha. Okay. I see Councillor Sullivan before we move on. So Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Ira, for your presentation. I completely agree. Very good use of the theater in the campus. I have a couple of questions. One, would you consider charging a nominal fee for folks who want to come to view the films? I was a little confused about some of the numbers. You talked about movies 2 to 3 times a month, which would be 24 to 36 in a year, and that 14,500 allows for 18 films, which would average 1.5 per month. And that comes out to about $555 per movie. So if you only have 10 to 15 people, it could be costing $55 to $60 per person for the movie. So I just need to calculate how much. I know hopefully your numbers will grow, but certainly
It would be ideal to have full numbers all the time. And to the point of are we going to be charging? Ideally, no. Ideally, this is one of the interesting things about a nonprofit community organization, is that we're not seeking to make a profit. If we have it as completely self-funding year over year, that is the goal. We are looking at doing other things to raise money. Of course, we are always looking at, things like snacks and drinks are always popular for people. There's other merchandise that we can partner with, as well as merchandise that we have on our own. It really is for us the investment in building the community. So as you know, with NG Pride, we do a lot of events to raise money. That money goes towards all of the various programs that we run. When we look at partnering on things like grants and other donations, that's to offset the cost that we're already prepared to spend. So for the Shared Lens project, the money that we're looking for within this grant is to help offset the other costs that we're already prepared to spend. So that in year one, we get it up and running. We find ways to make it hopefully self-funding as quickly as possible so that we get to that point. So yes, down the road, do we have to look at the potential of charging a very small amount? Like in the old days of having Westgate, where you pay $2 to go see a matinee. Weren't those the days? Being able to have something like that. But again, for us, charging the fee closes another door, as small as those fees might be. And so doing things by donation, I think, would be our ultimate goal, because it is give what you can. And if you can give nothing, just having people there to share their voice and talk. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So Councillor Wilson with the last question. Go ahead, Councillor Wilson.
Thank you for your presentation, Ira, and through you, Mayor Peckford, to Ira. There's a line item here and it's called logistics and security in the budget. Why do you need to pay security? Is it the security from the campus or other security? I'm not clear.
So our security would typically be volunteer. Logistics around it sometimes is just with equipment so that people can communicate. If we're going to be right down to brass tacks about this, anytime that our organization or our sister organizations run events, we need people there to help ensure that our attendees are safe. As much as this community has done huge amounts of growth in the last many years, there is always a risk in this community and in many other communities of running queer and inclusive events where danger does crop up. It's an unfortunate reality, but having people there who can, A, create a safe space for the people who attend, and be that sort of first line of response to bring in police when required. As an example, someone like me is often standing at the door. Everyone here knows me. I'm not exactly a scary person, but I'm large enough at this point that I can block the door and make a phone call. So, but we have to have a way to talk to each other.
So supplemental to that, so then you have no insurance costs. So you have a.
So we already have insurance.
Okay.
So by having our office on the campus, we pay insurance that covers our use of the space. And then depending on the events we do, we sometimes have supplemental insurance.
Okay.
That's just bundled in our cost of operation.
Okay, so they wouldn't require you to have a separate insurance to hold something like that in the theater?
From our discussions with the campus, it doesn't look like we'll need additional insurance to run it, as we do in partnership with the campus.
Okay, all right, thank you.
at least until someone throws something at my skull, and then
Yeah.
I guess we'll look at new insurance. But you know, there's really no loss up there.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your presentation and the dialogue. So thanks for, again, all of the work of NG Pride. And to your point, lots of growth in the community, but a long way to go for sure. So thanks.
And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Caitlin, I'm so sorry. I accidentally closed the window with the agenda. So if you could just prompt me with the next presentation until I get the agenda back on my laptop.
No problem. Next, we have the North Grenville Arts
Guild. That's right. Of course. Okay. So, and who do we have from the Arts Guild? Ah, Cheryl. Hi. Great.
Hi there.
Thank you, Cheryl. All right. Caitlin's going to put the clock up for you, and you're welcome to begin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My name's Cheryl Turner. I'm Vice President of the North Grenville's Art Guild, and I'm excited to share a little about who we are, what we do, and how we bring creativity to our community. Next slide. When we say we're more than a guild, we really mean it. North Grenville Arts Guild is a welcoming community of artists who support and cheer each other on, from brand new beginners to longtime creators. We have recently added Friends of the Guild, where people who may not make art themselves, but strongly believe in the power of creativity in our community. Together, we're building connections through art across North Grenville. Next slide. Our work focuses on three simple things: visual arts, education, and community reach. We showcase local artists, offer workshops and demonstrations, and make sure art is approachable and open to everyone. Our goal is simple: by helping creativity thrive and make art part of everyday life in North Grenville. Next slide. We really believe in giving back to the community that supports us. Our members volunteer their time and talents in ways that bring joy and creativity into public spaces. Recently, it included supporting the Kemptville Youth Center's art program and taking part in community events like Busker Fest in 2024 and 2025. Next slide. Partnerships help us reach even more people. We partnered with My Local Markets and Beth Donovan Hospice to present the Wonderful Art Show. We also offer free rotating artwork through our venues program at different locations like the North Grenville Public Library, Salamander's Restaurant, and our members have donated artwork to fundraisers like the Community Living's Comedy Night live auction. Art has a wonderful way of helping good causes at the same time. Next slide. Collaboration is a big part of who we are. Our members join the Friday Drawing Circle with the North Grenville Theatre Group, host demonstrations at the public library, and even take our easels outdoors to places like Green Gables Winery for plein air painting. It's all about meeting people where they are and inviting art into those spaces. Next slide. Now for the fun part, what's coming next? We're seeking a community grant to help support a few North Grenville Arts Guild events in 2026, including a new early summer outdoor show in partnership with Follow 44 Day Trips at Green Gables Winery. We're also creating smaller community-based exhibitions where artists can share their work and offer affordable art for everyone to enjoy, like our upcoming Sweetheart exhibit and sale this coming Sunday, February 8th, held at the Armory. Next slide. We're planning relaxed, family-friendly events like Art in the Park at Curry Park and participating in Old Town Christmas with our community partners. And our members are excited to offer hands-on community workshops, offering creative sessions where people of all ages can try something new and discover their inner artist. Next slide. In 2025, North Grenville Arts Guild participated in 3 major events: Fod Art, Busker Fest, and Wonderfall. Busker Fest alone brought out an estimated 4,000 people, and Wonderfall welcomed around 600 visitors to our exhibit at WB George. These events show that art really does bring people together and that we can successfully deliver well-organized, well-attended community programming. Next slide. These few photos give a glimpse of what this looks like in real life, from the outdoor painting and exhibits to music, markets, and community gatherings. They show how art helps activate public spaces and creates moments of connection. Municipal support plays an important role in making all this possible. It helps us keep events free or low cost, so everyone feels welcome to participate. It also supports local artists and strengthens the creative economy. Most importantly, it shows that arts and culture are valued as part of North Grenville's quality of life. We are respectfully requesting municipal grant support to help fund North Grenville Arts Guild programming in 2026. This funding would support event logistics like venues, insurance, promotion and marketing to reach more residents, and materials for community exhibits and workshops. We are committed to using these funds carefully and to maximizing community benefit through partnerships and volunteers. The North Grenville Arts Guild and myself would like to sincerely thank Mayor Peckford and Council for your time in supporting community initiatives like ours. North Grenville Art Guild is proud to be part of North Grenville, and we're excited about growing creativity and connection in the years ahead. With your support, we continue making art accessible, welcoming, and visible across our community. Thank you, Madam Mayor and councillors, for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to look to my council colleagues, some of whom sit on the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee, for any questions you might have. Not seeing any currently. So Cheryl, if I understand it, the proposal is for 2 distinct events or initiatives. How would you describe
Some of
the
them
events?
we're doing things a little bit different this year.
Okay.
And with that, we're doing some more smaller venues, not so much the large venues. We're trying to become more sustainable and trying to make things work in that way. And with that, that's why we're trying the different types. Like there's the one at the winery with Follow 44. There's also partnering with Old Town Kemptville BIA for the Christmas event. I think that's November 28th. And that's more what we're looking to do and hoping to partner more with the community and with community events. And also too, the library is a big part of something that we're looking to hopefully do as well, where with workshops, where our members are looking and have offered to go in and hold classes. And that's where we're looking for funding so that we can pick up supplies. And with that, it's offered, it can be offered to all ages, and just see what people, where their interests are. And the other direction that we're going is opening up the guild. So the guild is we've introduced 3 different levels now for membership, where not everybody wants to exhibit, but maybe they want to still be involved in the community. So with that, we have people, if they want to come in as non-exhibitors, that's fine. And if they want to do that later, that's great. And then also friends of the guild. So people who want to be part of the art community and want to learn, they're welcome. So we're looking to grow and make some changes going forward.
Okay, great. Thank you. You can see I have a cat looking for some attention, so
saw.
forgive me. But I appreciate this explanation. So and I can see how the guild has been evolving over the years. And of course, the Follow 44 tourism initiative was in fact developed by our tourism coordinator, who's been away for a bit, Heather Curry, but she was quite involved in developing that program and connecting a lot of the tourism-related businesses on County Road 44. So nice to see that being incorporated. Colleagues, I don't see that you have any questions. So I think, Cheryl, if there's any last words before we move on to our last presenter. Are you good? Okay. Thank you again.
All
We
right, thank you
appreciate
so much.
your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Take care. All right. And with that, colleagues, you'll see that we have our last presenter. Welcome, Kathy, and it's lovely to see you. Of course, many of us see you, if not every Tuesday, many Tuesdays, with the launch of the free community dinner. So we look forward to your presentation this evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Peckford and council members. I'm Kathy Ashby from House of Lazarus, and tonight I'm representing the North Grenville Community Meal Association. Members of the North Grenville Community Meal Association include Jennifer Gow as our vice chair, Emily Farrell as our treasurer, Kathy Gilpin as our secretary, and members Bruce Enlow, Willie Heidebreck, and Denise Busby. Next slide, please. So unfortunately, the need is not only still there, but greater than ever. In just 2023, 1 in 7 households in Eastern Ontario were deemed to be food insecure. And 2 years later, in 2025, we're now at 1 in 4 households in Eastern Ontario being deemed food insecure. 20% we've seen in the last year, a 20% increase in food bank visitors to House of Lazarus Food Bank, and a 40% increase in visits to our food bank. And the increase in visits, so our visitors coming back more and more times, that's being seen across the province, unfortunately. Over 30% of our food bank visitors are going whole days every month without eating. And next slide, please. For those reasons, the North Grenville Community Meal Association decided to provide a weekly community meal, feeling that this could be part of a solution to help the situation. It was important to the committee that the meal be served in a central Kemptville location, be in an accessible venue, that community volunteers be an essential element of the meal, and that the atmosphere be welcoming. After viewing several venues in Kemptville, the Armory was chosen as a community meal venue. And after piloting once in December, we started January 6th. Every Tuesday night, meals are being served between 4 and 7. And the meals are free or by donation. Next slide, please. So you can see from this slide that, you know, the end result of a 3-hour meal, community meal, takes many volunteers and many hours of prep to get there. So every week, food is purchased, plates, cups, napkins, lovely booties to go on our feet are all purchased. We have people coordinating the volunteers and the sponsors. We have on Sunday afternoons a chef, our chef right now, Bruce, and 3 volunteers are at Catered Affairs putting the main courses together. On Tuesdays at 1, food is picked up from Catered Affairs. Some of it is brought to St. John's United Church, and they do prep there of the salads and bread and anything else that Chef Bruce asks us to prep. And then the food is delivered then to the Armory. And again, in the afternoon at the Armory at 2:30. There's another group of volunteers there that are setting things up, getting food warmed to the right temperatures and serving, and then cleanup is done. So it takes many, many hours a week just to make that 3-hour meal work, and it takes about 20 volunteers every week to put on that meal. Next slide, please. We have been absolutely amazed by the community support for this venture. It's just been wonderful. We have local food businesses such as the Krusty Baker, Graham's Bakery, Brood Awakenings, and Johnson's Independent that are giving desserts for our meals or bread for our meals. We have local businesses sponsoring the meals. We have the Salvation Army and Houses of Lazarus donating food to help towards the meals. We have teams like the Rotary Club and Kemptville Brewing Company provided teams of volunteers to serve and be part of the meals. We've had remarkable musicians, and I just love that sense, that welcoming spirit when you walk in the doors and you hear the music playing in the background. And we've had council members and Mayor Peckford showing their support as well. And we're thankful for that. Next slide, please. So our statistics to date, move this up. So you can see our pilot, we started with 52 diners and 20 volunteers for that first pilot project in December. And then since then, really week by week, the numbers are growing. It was amazing. On January 20th, I was there, and to see that 101 person people walk through the doors, just amazing to me. And I'm sure that those numbers are just going to continue. Next slide, please. And behind the scenes, our association is doing a lot of work as well. So we've created a constitution, we've opened a bank account, we've obtained insurance. Right now, we're in the process of becoming incorporated, and once we're incorporated, we can apply for a not-for-profit status. So a lot of work is being done, not only weekly to put the meals on, but behind the scenes to make sure that we have a really good foundation to keep these meals going in the future. Next slide, please. So what's our current reality? We're making a difference. So we're serving in person. You saw the stats of the numbers of people coming out, but we're also, if there's food left at the end of the night, offering it to people that have come for the last sitting. So people are being able to take home extra food that they can then eat the next day. And if there's more food, House of Lazarus has been picking up the food the next morning, and we're freezing it in portion sizes for our senior meal program and for our food bank visitors. So we're providing well over 100 to 120 servings of food weekly, getting that food out into the community. Right now, we're using 3 venues. It's not efficient. We're at Cato de Fairs, at St. John's. We've also been at the Christian Reformed Church when St. John's United Church wasn't available. And we're at the Armories. So it's not efficient, and it is costly. And so really a priority right now is looking for another space where we can have not only space to cook and proper cooking facilities, but also storage. So we are in discussions and might have a solution coming up shortly, which would be great. We need to get that costs under control. The community, extremely supportive, as I mentioned. Our weekly donations have been greater than we expected. Our funding through sponsorship has been a little bit lower than we expected. Our weekly food costs are slightly higher than we expected, but we're working on that. An extra weekly cost, just having it at a venue that doesn't have a kitchen, doesn't have plates, etc. available, we're having to incur the costs of paper plates and cups and footwear covers. And we have such a dedicated group of volunteers who are working tirelessly to make the community meals a success. Next slide, please. So what we're asking if the fee for the venue fee for the armories could be waived, and that the cost of the prep venue could be granted to us. So I believe that's the end of the presentation, but if anybody has any questions.
Great, thank you. And I think I was the 101st guest on January 20th. So I think I walked through the door very late that evening. So congratulations. I know it's been many, many hands making light work. So, and all of council's had a chance to really experience what is a very positive community event. So I'll look to council colleagues for any questions. I certainly see, I think Councillor Wilson, do you have your hand up? No. Okay. I just need to understand, you talk about the prep venue costs, and where is the prep venue then? Is someone charging you for access to one of the other facilities?
Yes, we are paying a weekly amount at Catered Affairs, and we're also paying a weekly amount at St. John's United Church, just so that they can offset. I mean, there's fridges being used and dishwashers being used and that type of thing. So just they have costs that they're incurring, so they've passed that along to us.
Okay, great, thank you. And you speak of costs associated with the boot covers, and I don't actually quite understand what's happening there, because we have lots of municipal facilities where people can walk in with their boots. Can you help me understand?
It's our understanding that at the armories, they do not want any boots inside on the floors. So we've been asked that everybody takes off their boots, but knowing that a lot of people that are coming to the event, to the meals, are seniors, and are not able to, bend over and take off boots, etc. We've provided these boot covers instead.
I see. Okay. Well, maybe I can get a little more insight into why that practice is in play, but likely not for this evening. Okay. So then you also spoke of potentially a change of venue. Did I hear that correctly?
We're not looking to change where we're serving the meals.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We're not looking for that, but we're looking to cut down in the two prep venues where we're cooking and then where we're warming food, creating the salads. The Armories is a great venue. However, there's no sink. There's no kitchen, to prep in. So that has to be done off site, which, has its own challenges, but we have such a dedicated group of people that really want this to work. We're making it work. So we just need to fine tune, and every week our committee gets together every Friday afternoon to talk about, what went really well this week, what do we still need to look at to make things run more smoothly, more efficiently. I think some things behind the scenes need to still be worked on, but I think just being there on the 20th and seeing families coming through the doors, seniors coming through the doors, everybody enjoying, the food's amazing, the volunteers are amazing, and we're hearing that loud and clear, like people are feeling welcome when they walk through the doors. And so that building community, that spirit that's working wonderfully. So we've got that right. We just need to fine tune a few things behind scenes just to make everything run more efficiently and to be more cost effective. There's just a lot of costs, like even becoming incorporated. There's lawyers' fees and costs associated with that as well. So there's just, costs in doing things right, I guess.
Understood. And then my only other question, just looking at the numbers you provided, is there's a $5,000 insurance fee?
We actually, the insurance, the budget was provided before we had the actuals. So
Okay.
one insurance company was, to get things rolling, we went with, and it was like over $100 up for a week. It was like $132, I believe, for the week. Since then, we've been able to go locally and access insurance for a cheaper amount. So I believe the insurance is just under $1,000 a year.
Okay. And obviously, if you use a municipal facility, my understanding is that the insurance costs are not necessarily extremely high. So perhaps that's part of what happened in terms of settling on a more reasonable coverage limit. Okay. Okay. Well, those are all of the questions I have. Thank you so much. I'm myself typically dash in and dash out and take a few photos and experience the warmth of the evening. But I know it's been it's resonated with a lot of people in the community for a lot of different reasons. So we appreciate all of the work and the many, many volunteers and businesses too that are looking to sponsor and be part of what hopefully is a growing weekly event. So council colleagues, anything before we thank Kathy for her time? Nope. Okay, great. Okay. Well, thank you, Kathy. We appreciate it. So colleagues, I believe that takes us to the end of tonight's presentation. Do I have that right, Caitlin? No one else here, except of course, some of our lovely staff and council colleagues. So then everyone will recall that we're doing this again on Wednesday with, I think, a similar number of presenters. So before moving our confirmatory bylaw, I'll recognize Councillor O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just wondering, what was the total amount budgeted for this that we had to divide between all of the requests?
Well, we haven't settled on a final budget number.
Right.
So past practice has been that I think we've expended around $100,000 in previous years, but we're not tied to a number. It is at council's discretion. And my understanding is staff will provide some recommendations based upon alignment with program criteria, et cetera. So I think, when we have our meeting next Monday, we'll be able to talk through how, as a council, we wish to proceed in terms of the overall investment in the community initiatives.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Great. Anything else, colleagues? Not seeing anything. So, Councillor Sullivan, since you asked the last question, could you do us the pleasure of moving our confirmatory bylaw? Sure. And that is that the confirmation bylaw is attached to this agenda, be read a first, second, third time, and finally passed and passed in open council. Councillor O'Sullivan has moved. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Strachan. And I'll call the question. All in favor? That carries. Of course, all we're doing this evening is listening to presentations, so not moving anything substantial. And then Deputy Mayor, if you don't mind, alongside Councillor Wilson, moving adjournment at 9:24. I'll call the question. All in favor? Thank you. So I want to thank, I know Tammy has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the background on our community grants program. So thanks to Tammy and her other colleagues here tonight, Tana and Curly, and of course to Caitlin, our clerk, that set everything up so that things would move slowly. And Caitlin, thanks for innovating along the way. I think helping our participants with the timer was useful for everyone involved. So we'll endeavor to start that practice off with the first presentation on Wednesday. Okay,